stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, if I could have everyone please bow their heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come together tonight as the City Commission for the City of Hazen. And we pray that you watch over the activities this evening, that they can be pleasing to you and pleasing to those citizens in which we represent. We pray that you guide us in the decisions that we make. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, we'll have the reading and approval of the minutes for February 5th, 2024.
Motion to approve and suspend readings.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, minutes are approved. Thank you. And we'd be looking for a motion to approve the agenda if there are no additions or deletions to it.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, engineers report. I'm not sure. Jared, are you going to represent it?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, so I've got my agenda here, I think, in front of you guys, or it was out in the packet. Quite a bit happened this last month, so I'll take a few more minutes. Expedition Estates, the first project on my list. Generally, nothing to report other than spring is arriving earlier than we expected. I know John did contact them this last week to try and get a schedule from the contractor. It's probably a little premature for that, but you're all aware there's a private construction project going on out there, and we've got residents that are eager to see that done. So I'll keep you in the loop. I'll just have that on the agenda here for when we expect them back. Well, we did have a couple bids here this last month. So the first one to go through is the alley improvements. So this is a special assessment district project. So this was publicly bid, advertised. Page 2 and 3 show the bids that we got on the project. Low bidder on it was Winkler Construction. Getting 4 concrete bids is a pretty good deal. Pretty happy about that, especially on this smaller size of project. Page number 5 in the package shows the engineer's statement of cost. So by the time you add engineering, legal, construction, contingencies, we're showing a total project cost of $385,000. The only thing that's not included in here would be the private work between the alley going up to those businesses, which we still have yet to do. For those that want to do that work, it's not required, they don't have to, but if they want to piggyback on this and use the same construction contractor, we will coordinate that work so that can be added to their assessments. Like I said, it doesn't have to happen, but they'll just be given that option if they want to. So pretty pleased with the bids. I'm going to recommend award of the construction contract to Winkler Construction. Do we have any questions? No. So once that is done, then we'll sign contracts, set up a pre-construction meeting, and they'll start in spring. So I'll mention too, Winkler Construction will be doing the construction. I do have the following pages after that are the engineering agreement to do the staking and the surveying and all the construction engineering work. So I don't know if you want to do those separate or all together. But looking for a motion to award those contracts.
Make a motion to approve the alley improvement, we go with the low bidder, Winkler Construction, in the amount of $264,800.
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Hiller.
Aye.
Weidrich. Aye. Stern.
Aye.
So the next
Motion
thing
carries.
So the next thing I do have is the next page is in there for the construction engineering agreement on that project, and that is within the $385,000 budget for the project.
So there we're looking for a motion for task order number 20.
Yes, sir.
So.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
So on that, I guess what's that gonna run?
I have
80,000 or something?
30,000.
30,000.
Yeah. I have $7,500 figured for construction contract admin. I have $12,000 figured for on-site representatives. I have 4 staking trips figured for construction staking for $8,000. And then I've got the record drawings, which are considered post-construction services, doing the special assessments for $2,500, but all adds up to $30,000.
All right, any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Weidrich. Aye. Stern.
Aye.
Hiller. Hiller. Are you still there, Dan? We didn't hear your vote, Dan.
I'm sorry, we got disconnected just temporarily there. I said aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries.
Okay, so next thing I have is the city water meter replacement bid. We had, so just following along in your pages here, we had 3 bids, which was fantastic. Unfortunately, so everything went off extremely well on this, except for right at the tail end. We got 3 bids on water meters, one from a Corn Main, one from Dakota Supply Group, and then the third was from, remind me, oh yeah, there you go, Ferguson Water. So sorry, this is a better sheet to look at. Everything went great. We've got kind of 2 companies that were very close to each other. You can kind of see though that there's some real differences. One company has got a higher capital cost and then a lower annual fee, and then one's got a lower capital cost and a higher annual fee. And so we met as a committee to dig through this and score and rank proposals. Unfortunately, we had an error on the original sheet that was included in your packets, and I think the committee relied upon our information to kind of go where we thought they were going to go tonight. So we have a corrected version in front of you here today, and because today was a holiday, we didn't get a chance to meet with the committee again to talk this through any more. So I think, Dan, am I right in saying that we probably need to meet again one more time to finalize this decision on what the best value is here for the city?
That is correct.
Okay. Just understand it. We set this up prior to the bids and how to evaluate these bidders. There is no apples to apples systems when it comes to these things. There's close, but you can kind of see the different categories that we use. The committee met, and I feel really bad because the committee met, took an hour to determine who we thought was the clear bidder, but because we had an error in one of these formulas, calculations, that it led them to believe that someone was the obvious lowest responsible bidder, the best decision, but that kind of flip-flopped when we caught the mistake. So I do think we need 2 more weeks to meet again and finalize a decision for you guys. I apologize. So I don't know if you need to take any action on it or just delay it until the next meeting, but I don't think we're ready to recommend anything.
So Jared, I'm just wondering about the, I guess, lifespan of these, all this stuff is supposed to last in like 20 years? Is that what it's-
So that's a good question. One of those categories here was row number 5, warranty for meters. It's a great example of what you're talking about because this company provides a 15-year full warranty and then a prorated warranty after that up to 20. And this next company has the same. They have a 10-year full warranty and then a kind of a prorated warranty after that. The third company, they're all a 20-year warranty. It's what it says, but then there's an asterisk, and it's not a full warranty over the entire life. And that's why it's so hard to judge these things just based on cost, because there's a lot of other factors that they all offer. They're all, like I said, proprietary systems that they can't use each other's technology, so they're different. And man, I thought we had it figured out until we got that calculation error today. So, anyways, any other questions?
So then on the, I guess, the magnetic, I guess, reading, I guess, versus.
Ultrasonic?
Yeah.
That is a hard one to define value on. It's more of one of them is more of the industry standard, which I think you could consider better, but it's difficult to put a monetary number on that. So I think we do believe that a magnetic meter is better than an ultrasonic meter, but I don't know. If it were a tie, you maybe use that as a tiebreaker, but it's difficult to put a number on it. Some of the other discussions that was had was there's cost share available for capital purchases, but nothing for annual fees going forward. They all did pretty good on the substantial completion dates, being able to do the work this year, so that would seem like kind of a non-factor. Yeah, I think we just need to meet again. They just move on. Okay. All right. The next thing we bid this last month was the lift station control panel upgrades. So right after that, in your packets, is the work for the lift stations. So that's near the end, third from the last page. I should have numbered these pages so it's easier to follow. But we got 2 bids on the lift station control. So there's 2 lift stations in town that have control panels that are not that old, but do require some upgrades if you want to hook them up to your SCADA systems. So number 1, Skills. Number 2, Edling. That's the cost to do 2 of them. So it's about $23,000 per lift station to install the antennas and then integrate them with the system that we have here, so it works with the monitoring system and the alarms that you guys have. So pretty close. I can't remember what our estimate was, but we were pretty happy with these 2 bids. So my recommendation is to award a contract to Skills for the work, and that fee does include their integration and all that stuff. It does not cover all of your lift stations. That's just 2 of them that were easy to do because they're newer technology, newer controls. The other ones probably should wait until the guts of them get replaced before we do anything like this.
These 2 aren't reporting right now. I mean, you don't get the errors when because you have to actually physically look at the light to see something.
I would stand for a motion or recommend a motion to approve that contract for skills.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second that. So we've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Weidrich. Aye. Miller.
Aye.
Stern.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Last thing I have, well, two more things, sorry. Last thing in my packet here, but we were kind of tasked with going back. If you recall, maybe a month ago, we were deciding whether to go forward and bid the sanitary sewer spot repairs that were determined during the televising this summer. So the discussion was, well, what does it cost to do everything, right? And maybe go to the page on the next, or the map on the next page, please, Monty. But so there's, I believe, a dozen spot repairs that are needed throughout the system. That's the red dots, but the yellow and the purple are actually clay tile sewer mains. So the discussion was, do we want to spend the money and spot repair these things without addressing the bigger problem? So you guys directed me to go back and figure out what the cost was to do the lining and the spot repairs, and then what that would mean for like a special assessment amount. You know, how would we pay for that? What would it cost? So if you remember, the report we did in July showed the sanitary sewer lining in addition. The only thing I will tell you is that there's a little bit of purple on the map that was not within that report because it wasn't televised at that time, but you guys had televising results from that kind of on the shelf because you had done a little bit each year over the last couple. So the dollar amounts on the construction cost estimate when you scale up is just a little bit more than what that report showed in July. Just want to make sure you understand that. So what's it cost? So to do the spot repairs, to do the lining, so you install a cured in place liner inside filled clay pipes. Total cost to do a project like that's $2.85 million. And then we just got a kind of a repayment schedule at the bottom. We assume 100% loan. Best you guys can do is a government subsidized loan through the SRF program. So that shows an annual payment. What it ends up being is about $5,000 per household. Because there's about 600 properties in that area, 600 sewer accounts. I did not dive into it too. It's not that complicated, you know. I didn't raise it for the school. I didn't raise it for large water users. I didn't measure front footage or areas or anything. It's just $2.85 million divided by 600 accounts is about $5,000. And then if you were to finance that and pay for it over a 30-year period there, it ends up being about $235 per year on the people's taxes. So I think you guys needed that data in order to make a decision whether you want to go forward to spot repair these things or consider doing spot repairs and lining or whatever it is. But I think this is data that you wanted to see in order to make more informed decisions. So I would fully expect you guys to absorb this and think about it and discuss it. But just understand right now we are not going forward with fixing those spot repairs in the sewer system. And if you do want to get that done, you know, in the next month or so, we should make that decision of yes or no. Because we should bid that. Or we need to bid that. So, so anyway, any questions about that? No? Yeah.
So then I guess we would just, even on the pipe that's good and stuff, we would just, line it? Is that the idea?
Yes. Yeah, so I kind of skipped over the what and the why, but yes, so clay tile sewer main, generally more of a brittle type of sewer pipe, and so what almost all the cities in North Dakota are doing is taking their televise your system, figure out where all the bad spots are, spot repair those spots, and then it just forms a new pipe instead of the old pipe. And so it kind of stops the deterioration, because as clay gets older, the ground always freezes, thaws, expands, contracts, and moves. When you got pipe of that age, it's more brittle. And so it is continuously cracking and shifting and moving. We've got 12 spot repairs that, since the 2008 project, or 18 project that we did. So yes, the idea here, this cost is to line all of those sewer mains in town with the cured in place liner, and to do the manholes too. We included that as well. Yeah, it includes doing 85 sanitary sewer manholes as well.
And to be clear, it's not just this year, but this is just not something that the state or any agency is going to give us any money to do. So we'd be basically looking to loan this out and then special assess it back to our citizens.
Loan or bonding.
Say that again, Monty?
Loan or bonding, yeah.
Yes. But we're not going to get any kind of match from the state on sewer stuff. That's what you said before, correct?
Correct.
You don't qualify for any. You
Yep.
qualify on the water side for 60% cost share, but nothing on the sewer side.
And if I'm hearing you correctly, based on the age of our clay system out there, we've got particular spot repairs right now. I know nobody has a good crystal ball, but the likelihood is that as we move forward, we'll continue to see these same type of failures elsewhere in this same system.
So yeah, this includes all the clay. Everything that's newer in town is all PVC. You guys have not evaluated the PVC, but we don't generally find any problems with, well, I shouldn't say that. Occasionally we'll find problems with PVC, but it's not, it's apples and oranges here. So, I don't know. I just expected to have a conversation on this, let you guys absorb it. I don't think it's the greatest idea to spot repair these things without then lining it, but it doesn't necessarily mean you can't. Or, the discussion a month ago was a special assessment on doing spot repairs. And I thought we all thought that was kind of may have been a bad decision, because we may, then go back and hit them again with the lining fee, and it's like, well, geez, we're going to do all part of town, let's just get it done. But you could do this in one phase or two phases or three phases. I mean, it's definitely more efficient to complete these municipal projects in fewer, larger phases, but it does not mean you have to do it all that way.
Do you feel the scope of this project would be doable in one season?
Oh yeah. We've done some large lining projects in New England and Glen Ullin, Flasher, Wing. There's a lot of cities that line their sewer mains. Lots of them. Yeah.
So then on the lining then I guess, like what's the I guess the lifespan?
Same as a PVC pipe. Because it's a resin impregnated stock that they pull into the system, and then they cure it with either heat or steam. So it forms a new PVC pipe right inside the old one. And they say that PVC pipe's 100-year life expectancy. We'll find out. So there's pros and cons to it. I mean, the pro is obviously that it's a fraction of the cost. To go and replace 27,000 feet of pipe is probably, I think we did a cost estimate. It was like $10 million. So it's cheaper. There's no seams. Piece of pipe, there's a joint every 20 feet. So that's the good thing. The bad thing is that if there's little imperfections, the liner will follow those imperfections too. And that's why we have to spot repair those 12 spots before we do this type of work. But it's environmentally, as far as the footprint goes, there's no construction. They just go manhole to manhole, leapfrog, and get it all done. I think they can do 2 blocks in one setup. Then it just, the robot goes and cuts out the service lines.
Gosh, I figured it's all their water lines, cause they waited too long, it's 4.8 million for that little town.
No, and I am not pointing a gun at your head. Like, you don't have to do this right now, but it won't get any cheaper. And spot repairs, you saw in the water, if we repair a water main spot repair, they're probably like 15 to 20,000 a piece. But sewer spot repairs are more risky because oftentimes you have sewer backups, and that can get expensive just because of, you don't know if it's 2 basements or 4 basements or 10 basements. I have seen sewer spot repairs cost over $100,000, but you should fix them when it's appropriate. But you don't want to wait till you're starting to have failures. But for another meeting.
My recommendation is that we continue this conversation when we have a full set of commissioners, and then everybody would have opportunity to be part of that discussion.
Good plan. Then I'm going to bring it up in a month just to see if you wanted to decide on doing these spot repairs this summer or not. Okay, because we still have to go through the advertising and bidding of that. If you don't decide, that's fine, but I'll just keep it on my agenda. Okay, last thing I have on mine is water service line inventory. So I think I've brought this up multiple times here, but it's kind of like the census. All the public water systems across the country are being inventoried to determine what their individual water service lines are. And what the EPA is looking for is lead, right? But it doesn't matter. Everybody still has to do the same customer survey. I don't know if I sent Monty kind of a screenshot. The intention is to do them all with a computer or smartphone. It doesn't matter if you live in Hazen or if you're on Southwest Water or Bismarck or wherever. Everybody's generally doing the same survey. So far, you guys have mailed that notice out to everybody in town, and you've had about 45 people do it. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's way more than most communities have had respond to it. But I think it's appropriate now to send a second notice or try something else. You've done your social media blasts, but just understand that we're helping the state with it. They're the ones paying our contract on it, but we can't make people do it. And so if you live in town, please do yours. Please encourage your neighbors to do it. It's a website. It's indywaterpipes.com that everybody can go to do their own individual survey. It doesn't work for every town. It just works for towns that we're working in, by the way. So it's indywaterpipes.com. You can do your survey on there. But I think at this point, Monty, were we going to try to do something else?
Yeah, I'll
Or
visit with Dan a little bit
Okay.
about getting something in the paper, because I know we've had several calls from people wondering what kind of scam it is to, that you're supposed to scan the QR code and do this survey.
Yep.
So that's been our biggest question so far is, what am I signing up for?
I could print 100 copies of the survey and people could fill them out. It just creates more work for everybody in the back end. It's way more efficient if they do it online, because then you've got instant results. But I'll gladly
Yeah.
print.
You say we can print out the survey too and at least have them here for some of those that,
Email it to me, then we'll take it from there.
okay.
John would just input it in the system for them. Other cities have been doing other things. The city of Linton did a letter from the mayor to everybody in town asking them to do it, and they only got 15 people to do it. So I don't think there is one thing that is working better than anything else. So we can do flyers, we can do mailers, we can do Facebook posts, the only thing that does seem to be working is the mayor of Flasher has been going door to door to get people to do it. I hope we don't get to that point, though. So that's what we're up
Gary,
against.
Can you remind me when that needed to be taken care of? I'm just wondering if I can wait till I come home or if I need to coordinate with somebody else too.
If your house was built after 1987, I could probably have John go in and do yours for you. Just because you could tell us what your material is, but I suppose that is an issue that anybody that's down south right now probably hasn't gotten a chance to do theirs yet.
There's a few snowbirds. Yeah.
I think they wanted them done by the end of April. Is when they wanted them. They wanted the data back. I'm pretty sure. So that's all I have. Please look for those things. Encourage people. Tell them it's not a scam. It is a legitimate thing. If people aren't willing to do it online, they can fill out the information and drop it off, or call us and we'll do it. We'll type it into the system for them, or call somebody from Hazen Public Works and they can help them with it too. Yeah.
Do we have anything that should be put on the state's water plan? I know if that deadline's coming up, what is it, in April?
So yes, the state water plan is, the legislature will meet again in February, and so what they're doing right now is they're asking everybody to put projects on the state water plan. Hazen has a couple projects on there right now, and so you have the State Water Commission funds different categories of projects. They'll fund water projects like replacing water mains, right? That's an eligible thing. So, and then another thing is a flood risk reduction project. You guys have a floodplain in town. I think we have you on there for 3 projects. We just took the projects that you were on the list for 2 years ago and reapplied them again.
It's up to you guys if you want to, but I know the Water Resource Board is looking pretty strongly at asking for some cost share for a stag and clear. I don't know if that's anything that the city should be looking at too, and try to do it in conjunction with the two, but I think as a water board, I think that they're putting some thought into asking for some money for that.
They have cost share programs for lots of categories. Snagging and clearing is an eligible expense, so getting rid of all those stumps and trees in your river system through town is an eligible expense. I don't know if oftentimes you'd have an engineer go evaluate it and tell you if you have a need for it. I don't know if you've done it or thought about it or not, or what you're going to say.
We did a drone survey of both outside of town and right through town. I don't know if that's of any value for you to take a look at, or if the city wants to take a look at that to apply for cost share, but that's one of the projects that I guess the water board's taking a closer look at.
So we could just fill out a form and just guess on a number if you'd like us to for now. It's not going to be accurate, but it puts you in the state water plan. The benefit of being in the state water plan is if all of a sudden they have to prioritize projects because there's not enough money available, then you would be prioritized first. If you're not in the state water plan, you could still get cost share. You just kind of take a second, back seat to those that are on the list. So we've tried to kind of just put stuff on there that we think Hazen might need, but flood risk reduction project is definitely something. Is there a drain project? I can't remember.
Yeah, there was some drainage stuff too.
Drainage improvement project for water that's kind of coming from outside the city limits. Water, drinking water, so water meters, water mains, water tower, anything like that you build it for. But I like that. If you have a dam, you can do dam work. But yeah, we'll place you on the list for snagging and clearing, I think. Anything else?
Thank you, Jared.
Thank you, guys. I'll stick around for a little while. This is Aiden Kelly with More Engineering. Aiden's a graduate engineer. He helped with a lot of the design here on these projects, and I'm going to see how you guys do business. So, thanks.
All right, we'll move on to requests of the citizens. First on the agenda here is free and reduced hall rent and local permit for Sakakawea Medical Center's hospice program.
I'll make a motion to approve this. Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right, then we have for the New Miller auctioneers, they have a street closure request.
So anyway, so I'm just curious, I guess, why the street needs to be closed, I guess.
Apparently, with all of the stuff that they'll be selling, they're expecting to actually put some of the items out onto the street to get it sold. So everything's available for viewing and everything.
So then I guess even the residents there, you know, on that block.
They'll have to leave some room for them to get in and out, but they just don't want everybody driving through there.
Make a motion to approve the street closure.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor? Oops, excuse me.
Just where is that at? Second Avenue Northwest between 4th and 5th Street.
Any other comments or questions? All right, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, the last thing we have here is street light installation. Do we have anybody here tonight to represent that, or is that just a submittal to the board?
No, there is someone here to speak on it.
He's nervous, so he wrote down what he wants to say. Sure, go ahead.
Hello, I'm here to talk about getting streetlights on our street. When I walk to school, it is better, and it makes a difference. I live on 4th Street, Northeast. Also, the streetlights on Moses Park is better, and I have to walk that way to go to school. Also, absorb outlets and hard for cars to see me walking. So I was just wondering if there would be any way to get streetlights on our streets.
He lives, the street that goes from Main, I think it's only a block north of here, to the school. And then north by John Moses Park there to the middle school. It's pretty good.
On those streets right now, there's no.
I'm on, I don't know,
One and two.
One of them does, is that what you said?
is that this road, right? The road that goes up to your middle school, there's none, right?
I think there's like one that's at the end of the street.
And that would be by the middle school there.
Is there sidewalk along that way?
Yeah.
East-west, but not north-south.
I think the best thing, I can go out tomorrow and take a map and mark out where the lights are and then get some pricing to put them in, so I can bring that back to the next meeting.
Is that all right with everybody on that plan of attack?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Are there any other questions for them?
Even though I'd just like to say that.
All right.
Yeah, so anyway, even though that they, I guess, all the old lights, you know, I guess they were then, switched over to, I guess, newer style LED lights, and now it seems like those don't really, light up, all that far away. So,
We know in that area where there is lighting, has that already been updated to the LED fixtures?
I'm gonna say yes. I mean,
I think so.
yeah.
Okay.
I can verify that as well.
Yeah, I think Monty's approach is good, so we know what it is that's currently in place there. So I think that's great, where there's fixtures and whether or not they've already been updated to LED fixtures.
And I'm sure the engineer has some information on what kind of lighting, what it's supposed to cover, and
Right. Okay, anything else on that discussion? All right, then we will move on to the discussion of section 7, introductions, reading, and approval of ordinances referencing the engine brake noise ordinance. You want to go ahead and talk about that, Monty?
I'm sorry, President Obenauer was contacted by a resident on the east end, I believe across the railroad tracks in our annex right away out there, and questioned as to why there is no, or what it would take to get signage out there for engine brakes. I do know that up on the hill by the airport, there is a sign for noise, but when I contacted the district engineer in Dickinson, he said our ordinance would have to be specific to the engine brakes, not just loud noise, in order for them to put a sign. So just kind of getting the ball rolling here and a couple examples. If anybody has any suggestions, I'll work with Mark and Pat as far as writing up some ordinances for review at the next meeting, and we can go from there as far as getting something approved if we indeed want to get the engine brake signs up.
I do recall our last conversation, and I know that there was some discussion on the safety aspect of these Jake brakes. But I know with the increased amount of traffic we have going through there with the large trucks, boy, all summer long, you know, and when, in my opinion, the roads are not, you know, in any kind of shape where, you know, you have ice or anything like that, there sure was a lot of noise that I can only assume, because I'm not a professional Jake brake person, but it sure sounded like what I had heard when I would pull it up on YouTube videos and stuff.
I'll work with Pat and Mark to come up with something for the next meeting as at least another starting place for an ordinance.
Okay. Any other comments or questions for Monty on that subject?
So then I guess where would the signs be at,
I guess my thoughts were they would be where we have the noise ones now, if they can just be added to that as far as noise, or if it has, I'm not positive how the DOT does that, because he was very specific that our ordinance has to refer to the engine brakes. I know things have changed over the years where it used to be just, you know, any excessive noise, they would put a sign up, and now it's more specific to these types of noise. So, and currently our ordinance doesn't refer to the engine brakes at all. Just mostly refers.
So you're thinking right now, Monty, just up there by the airport?
Yeah, because there are signs on the east and west side of town now. I didn't look on the north or south, but I thought there were supposed to be some there as well. But I'll make sure
Okay.
as to where they are currently, and I guess I would anticipate putting them back in pretty much the same spots.
So,
I think it's almost like a double-edged sword. We already have an ordinance in place that deals with excessive noise, which engine brakes, if you have mufflers on, you hardly can hear them. It's the people that have straight pipes on their truck. Those are the ones that you hear, which our ordinance goes in with exhaust. So we can already be ticketing under our original ordinance, so I don't understand the point of putting another ordinance and taking a safety feature away from trucks that need it. Well, I mean, at least that's my theory. We can already, if they're excessively loud, our officers can already ticket them. But for the ones that aren't loud, why are we restricting them?
The tricky spot in that, because I've been involved in some litigation on that, on both sides, both from a prosecution and a defense standpoint, is figuring out what is too loud, where a lot of people know, I mean, officers in particular, they can testify to what is a Jake brake or engine braking. That's pretty apparent, but what is too loud? Well, if I ask everyone sitting at this table, everyone will tell you a different answer, and it's not really a scientific way to say it. What is too loud? And most of the officers, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys don't have any decibel meters or anything like that to where, but they do know what the Jake brake sounds like. Right. And so that's where it's, from an enforcement standpoint, it's probably a little bit easier from that standpoint. But I don't know if that makes it right or wrong, but that's why you tend to see a little bit more of the specificity there.
I get that, but I still don't like taking a safety feature away from potentially 105,000 pound rig.
Yeah, absolutely.
But would you actually be taking it away, or just saying you don't want the noise?
And technically, if you don't want the noise, you're taking it away. And any truck that is using them, even if they're fairly quiet, it can be ticketed under that ordinance. You know,
Or is there a way of doing that excessive engine brake?
but that goes back to what Mark just
You're
said.
there, yeah.
Well, what's excessive? Without having actual decibel meters, and even that would be, because how far away are you measuring it, you know? It's
You'd have to be right there when they.
correct, you know. Where I live right by the train tracks, to be honest, I don't hear them that often. Every once in a while, yeah, and if you're in your house, I never hear them. It's only when I'm outside, I hear them, every once in a while. Most of them are.
Well, with those, I hear them all the way up at my house. And where I hear them predominantly is coming in on the west side of town, which is a relatively flat terrain coming in. So I'm not sure, and again, I'm not a Jake brake expert or a truck driver, but I'm not sure I understand the need for those coming into town on the west end.
Most truck drivers use them every chance they get to because of the cost of replacing brakes. Just to save on a little noise. I mean, that train is 8 times louder than any Jake brake's gonna be. Would you take that train horn away just due to noise and risk the safety factor going with it?
Let's discuss it one time too.
There was, you know, I know there's a lot of people that don't like it, but I mean, it's a safety feature, that's why it's still there. You know, there is times, I agree with you, Dan, that they don't need to use them, because there's times I hear them using it, trying to pull into Senex or something like that, and they're still on using them. I agree on you that, but, you know, if you read, which ordinance was that? One of those 2 ordinance Monty shared, it did state in there that they could use it due to safe practices or something like that. But that also goes back to who gets to dictate that. The officer or the truck driver? No offense to you, Jim, or any of your guys, how many of you guys have ran 105,000 pound rake down the road? What you think might be safe might not be to them either. You know, because I know when I used to drive trucks, I did chew out one of Mercer County's cops like bat. I was screaming at him because the roads were icy and he was blocking traffic down at the bottom of the hill. I came over the top of the hill with 9,000 pounds or 9,000 gallons worth of gas on me, and I could hardly get it shut down. So, you know, that, you know, either, no matter how you look at it, it's going to be a subjective type of deal.
This may be something that we wait for President Obama to be here so we can talk to the concern that was raised to him directly.
Okay, any further discussion?
Hey, Dan, yeah, I'd just like to see, I guess, on the signs, I guess, they would be, I guess, like right at the city limits, I don't think they should be, I guess, like used in town, but.
Okay. All right, well, Monty, we'll go ahead and we'll get the ball rolling, and then obviously there'll be future discussions on this.
Yep.
All right, we'll move down to the report section. Under water, sewer, and garbage, we kind of talked about some of that stuff under the engineer's report tonight, so I don't have anything else to add at this time. Street cemetery? I don't know, is Dave?
No, Dave is actually in Bismarck for the safety conference all week.
Okay.
He did.
All right, we'll move on then
Sorry.
to finance and library.
Oh.
Sorry, Steve.
Go ahead, Monty.
No, that's fine. I was just gonna say that he did talk to Free, and he is aware that he needs to finish that gate if the forecast is calling for snow.
Okay. Finance, busing, and library, please.
Don't, Dan, I'm good.
Okay. And then police, fire, and forestry.
All right, I got some run reports for the fire department from the month of January. We had a motor vehicle accident up by Pick City Curves. We had a assist Beulah Fire Department at the elevator fire, and a lift assist to help the ambulance. That's all we have there. I have not heard back from Tony yet on that upfitting stuff. Last I heard, he was still trying to work with it with that guy. I haven't heard from him since. That's all I got. If you got anything, Jim?
He says he can't get a hold of you. I might be on vacation right now.
Okay.
He's been sending them emails that it's just a standard email that I'm out of the office.
Gotcha. Okay. You have anything else, Jim? Okay. That's all I got.
All right, thank you. Is Buster here tonight?
He is not.
Okay, so no report from HCD, and Mr. Overhour is working tonight. So that takes us down to public comments. Do we have anybody this evening that has any public comments?
None.
All right. Then we got down to approval of the bills.
Motion to approve bills as presented.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Weidrich.
Aye.
Stern.
Aye.
Pillar.
Aye. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.